quick meeting. We've got a couple important matters of business to attend to. At this time, I'd like to ask Commissioner Brian Booth if he would say the invocation.
Dear Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, dear Lord, Lord, watch over this court, dear Heavenly Father, that we'll do needs of the county, dear Heavenly Father, and go with us through the remainder of the day, dear Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Judge Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Robertson.
Here.
Commissioner Tackett.
Here.
Commissioner Booth.
Here.
We have a quorum. We are ready to proceed. I'd like to ask Bob Shirtliff from Pikeville City Commissioner and Corporate Executive with AEP if he would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, if he wouldn't mind doing that. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir. Before we move into the agenda items, we do have an important announcement to make. Yesterday, the Pike County Fiscal Court was notified by the United States Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration that we have been approved for a $1,869,210 grant from EDA to help with phase one of our Wolf Pit Industrial Site infrastructure project. This money will require a match of $467,303, which I think we have already committed from our single county coal severance tax account, for a total phase one cost of $2,336,513. I want to begin by thanking everyone involved in the project, Eric Ratliff and Sharon Hall in our grants office. I'd like to thank Congressman Hal Rogers and Karen Kelly, his district director, for their work on this. We were turned down for this project last year. We resubmitted our application, made a few changes, and this money will go a long way toward helping get the infrastructure in place in the first county-owned industrial site in Pike County, and will give us an opportunity. You know, just because we build a site doesn't mean we'll be successful in bringing business to it. But one thing's for certain, if you don't have a site, you have no chance of bringing any new businesses into the region. So this is a very important project, and again, thanks to everyone for their work on this. Now we have to move on to phase two of this project, Eric. So we'll get together next week and talk about where we go from there. So thank you all very much. We have today Mr. Joe Patton from AEP Kentucky Coal and Mr. Bob Shirtliff from AEP. Gentlemen, if you all like to come up to the front table. And on the agenda, we have approval to execute a surface deed and joint defense agreement with AEP Kentucky Coal for property located at Flatwoods. Joe, good morning, sir. I should have sent the message that it was no tie Friday because it's a long weekend and we're going to try to get everybody out of here as quick as we can. But first of all, let me welcome both of you. Bob, it's always a pleasure to work with you, both in your capacity with Kentucky Power and also with the city of Pikeville. We want to thank the folks at AEP Kentucky Coal and AEP for working with us on this. The acquisition of this property will give us several possibilities. First, it will give us an opportunity to develop a large adventure tourism trailhead and recreation area, but also it gives us an opportunity for a large industrial site, something we don't have. And when we can acquire 2,600 acres for literally with what's donated, what we're buying for $275,000 and change, to me that's a significant amount of money for, but it's a lot more property. I told someone we could probably timber it and get our money back. Literally, it's nothing. This is not a project that people of the county are ever going to lose any money on. So would there be a motion to approve the surface deed joint defense agreement with AEP Kentucky Coal?
Motion.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. It was actually a tie between Commissioner Robertson and Commissioner Tackett, second by Commissioner Tackett.
We're just so anxious to get this.
Trust me, I know that. I've not heard anything from the court about this, have I? So anyway, we have a motion second. This has been reviewed by both County Attorney Kevin Keene and Colonel Downey. You had the opportunity to review it as well. All right, and you're good with it? Thank you, sir. All right, so we have a motion second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett,
Yes.
Commissioner Booth,
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. Joe, do you have the documents I need to sign? You may approach us. We're not that kind of, Joe, we're not that kind of court. Okay? Bob, you want to do this up here? Gary, you want to get a picture? Or, Joe, why don't you and Bob come up here? Why don't you, Joe, come around here, and I'll let you and Bob stand back here as I sign it. If you will get the members of the court around, we can do that. Yeah. Yeah. We'll have one other matter here. Hey, Joe, we had, I don't think, Joe, we have to pay the ad valorem taxes since we're government. Oh, okay. I like the way you think, Joe. All right.
Bills are coming me because I want him to first.
Okay. That's correct. I don't know if it's prorated or not. It's,
I'll say if anybody.
you need to look at this right here, Frankie. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Yeah. See where I need to sign this up. Roy, you want to sign this for the county attorney's office, and I don't think I need to sign it anywhere. Yeah, I probably need to sign this one. And let's get copies of these for Mr. Patton. If we can send somebody to make copies of those. And Eric, I'll give this back to you when we're done. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Appreciate it, Joe. Okay. He's gonna record it, and he'll bring us a recorded copy back. All right, the next item is the approval of recreational land lease agreement and perpetual trail easement. These documents have been prepared by Mr. Keene and Mr. Downey. Is that correct, Roy? You and Kevin have got everything worked out on these, on the recreational land use agreement and the perpetual trail easement for the trail system?
Judge, Kevin actually did that,
If Mr. Keene did it, it's in order.
it's what they asked for.
All right.
And they come to an agreement.
Is there a motion to approve the recreational land agreement and perpetual trail easement that will be standard forms for the trail system?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robertson. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett,
Yes.
Commissioner Booth,
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. Next item is the second reading of the 2020-2021 proposed Pike County Fiscal Court budget amendment, and that's for this fiscal year. Frankie, can you just give me explain this, and then we'll ask for a second reading by Mr. Downey.
Judge, the biggest reason for this budget amendment is to amend the ARPA, the American Rescue Plan Act stimulus money into our budget. We received it last week. Also, there was a second grant on the CARES Act money that we had got $660,000 for. There was a coal severance project, this ATV property for AEP, and then I had to amend some additional revenue into solid waste to balance their budget.
All right. Mr. Downey, would you please present the second reading of the proposed amendment number 2 for budget years 2020, 2021?
Pike County Fiscal Court, Amendment Number 2, an ordinance relating to the annual budget and amendment thereof, whereas Pike County, Kentucky has realized unbudgeted receipts be it ordained by the Pike County of the Commonwealth of Kentucky that we're having a total amended revenue of $7,990,637 with appropriate expenditures that accompany those under the items that the treasurer had mentioned. Thank you.
All right, is there a motion to adopt budget amendment number 2 to the 2020-2021 budget of the Pike County Fiscal Court? We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Roberts. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett,
Yes.
Commissioner Booth,
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. All right, let's see. Mr. Maynard, would you like to come up, sir? We have already adopted and approved the hiring of our, the selection of our workers' compensation carrier. And because of the safety plan that the court has implemented, the safety program that is overseen by Mr. William Spears, who's our certified OSHA compliance officer, we saved about $350,000 in our workers' compensation premium from last year to this fiscal year. And I want to thank all the employees of the court, particularly Mr. Spears and Judge Hickman, who've worked on this, because as we move forward, it's going to be imperative that we work to contain increases in employee benefit cost. There are certain things that we don't have control over. We don't have control over what the FICA cost, the Medicare match, the Social Security match for our employees. We don't have any control over that. We don't have any control over the increasing pension costs. This year, it's roughly 27 cents the county has to pay to the state pension system for every dollar of payroll. It's actually 26.95 cents per dollar. That's going to be over 30 cents per dollar of payroll next year. And by 2029, it's projected to be about 59 cents for every dollar of payroll. Hopefully, the pension system will rebound. We'll be able to, contain the increase in the contribution rate for employers. Not only affects this fiscal court, it affects every fiscal court. It affects quasi-governmental entities like Mountain Water District, who are in the pension system. And we could debate whether that's a fair thing to place on counties. We could debate whether or not the pension situation is as bad as it has been indicated, and we could debate, why we got to this point and how we get out. But the one thing we can't debate is the fact that those costs are going to continue to increase, and we're going to have to deal with that. The one thing we do have some control over is things like insurance benefits, health insurance, what we do on our workers' compensation coverage in terms of trying to lower costs through reducing the E-mod. and on our liability, our property and casualty insurance. And one of the things that really concerns me is that, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, is the fact that we've had so many accidents between the fiscal court, lawsuits from the jail. We've had, sheriff's vehicles involved in accidents, county employee, fiscal court vehicles involved in accidents. We're going to have to work harder to contain and to try to limit those claims. And one of the things that we're going to hopefully be able to do is implement some things like driver's training to try to get our employees and other county government employees, whether it's the clerk's office, whether it's the detention center, whether it's in the sheriff's office, to try to be cognizant of, the ramifications of what happens when there's an accident, not just the property damage, not just the potential for injury or harming someone, but the long-term cost to the county. Because even after a claim's over, that claims history, when we shop around insurance, is going to have that loss runs. And those losses will impact the county's premiums, not just in the next fiscal year, but for several years thereafter. So right now, the current 2020 premiums, the 2020-2021 fiscal year, between workers' comp and property and casualty, the total premium was $1,693,040.64. One of the things that we have in the current plan through Lloyd's of London is we have law enforcement coverage and excess liability coverage that covers our sheriff's office and the jail staff.
Correct.
Unfortunately, with everything that we've seen across the country, with lawsuits against police agencies, police officers, excessive force claims, federal civil rights lawsuits, federal civil rights prosecutions, the coverage for our law enforcement related agencies in the detention center and the sheriff's office is one of the big drivers in our insurance increase for this year. So I'm going to run through what we have here. If you look at this, gentlemen, the basic package for the current policy, and we no longer have the option to stay with the current company because they have sold out to a company called One Beacon.
Correct.
And One Beacon is no longer interested in insuring county governments, as we've been told.
That is correct.
So the base package goes from $611,000 up to $891,000 for liability coverage. The surcharge, as a result, goes from $9,700 up to almost $16,000. The basic law enforcement coverage goes from something that was included up to $105,000. The excess liability for our law enforcement agencies goes from $40,000 up to $58,000. The workers' compensation premium goes from $930,000 last year to $576,000 for a reduction of $354,000. The management fee was something that we were able to negotiate down, and this is basically the commission that is built into these types of policies. That was reduced from $100,000 down to $84,000. The total premium is, for both workers' comp and liability this year, is $1,731,797.92. The overall increase is $38,757.28. So even with a $354,000 reduction in our workers' compensation premiums, due to claims, due to the national issue over excessive force claims, lawsuits against police departments, the actual increase for the basic package was $279,550. The law enforcement was a total of about 123,000 for a net increase of 38,757.28. I do think, Justin, would you agree with this? Because you're the insurance agent. If we could contain our claims in terms of accidents, damage to equipment and so forth, would that help us get, a potential reduction next year on our property and casualty coverage? Or is it going to take more than one good year in terms of claims?
It'll take more than one. You'll at least have to have two, because one of the things I didn't break out on here is the auto by itself under this new package is $545,000 by itself because of all the auto claims. So they're going to want to see at least 2 years of improvement on those before they'll reduce that.
So one of the things that people need to also understand is that the county doesn't just insure fiscal court vehicles.
Correct.
The county insures every volunteer fire department vehicle in the county, every rescue squad vehicle, the detention center vehicles, all the sheriff's office vehicles. I think the clerk's office has a vehicle. I'm not sure, is the PVA vehicle on there? The PVA vehicles on there, or vehicles are on there. The senior citizens vehicles, I believe, are on there also. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So, I mean, if you think about how many vehicles the county is actually insuring, it is a significant outlay of money. And that, because the fiscal court does that, it saves our senior citizens program money. It makes it possible for our volunteer fire departments to operate, because without that insurance coverage, if every volunteer fire department and rescue squad had to go out and buy their own policies, the cost would likely be cost prohibitive for many of those departments to afford coverage.
That is correct, yes.
If the sheriff's office had to buy a standalone policy, I suspect it would be a substantial amount of money as well.
Yes, it would.
So, I mean, the county, the fiscal court is doing a lot to help all the county government agencies. And, unfortunately, it's not been, most of these claims have not been any of the other agencies. It's not been jail. It's not really been the sheriff's office. It's mostly been accidents from fiscal court employees that have helped drive these premium costs. And when you have as many vehicles on the road as we do, when you have, solid waste vehicles and road department vehicles operating every day in every kind of weather, there are going to be things that happen, particularly as many miles as they drive every day. But it's incumbent on us to make sure that we're doing what we can to improve safety and to make sure our workforce is conscious of what's going on. And I'm going to talk about that here in a minute with another thing that we've worked on. But before we go any further, would there be a motion to accept the proposal that's contained here from Kinsdale Insurance Company, which is a subsidiary of Travelers, and from Travelers Insurance Company. I think Kinsdale is from Travelers, but from Kinsdale and Travelers for the package renewal as stated for workers' compensation and liability for $1,731,797.92 for the 2021-2022 fiscal year.
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Commissioner Booth. Any other questions or discussions on this matter? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
And Judge, did you want to do the health insurance as well?
We do need to do the health insurance as well. I don't know if we have that in the package or if
It's behind the Kinsale quote.
mine's a little bit out of order, so hang on one second. I've got it. It was just, yeah, I've got it. Mr. Maynard, please proceed.
Yes, Judge, we did get the renewal in for our Anthem insurance. That is going to be an increase of 6.8%. The total monthly projected premium on that is going to be $124,562.06 for a 12-month total of $1,494,744.72.
How much is that monthly?
$124,562.06 is what it's going to be projected.
And it's a 6.8% increase over the current year.
Correct.
And again, this is something that we really don't have a lot of control over because we shopped this around from 2 different agents. The other company was actually a little bit higher than this one. And the benefits are slightly better under this one, is that correct?
Correct.
So, again, this is one of the things we don't have a lot of control over other than through the claims and to try to, hopefully have a healthy workforce this year. But we had a couple cancer claims in the last few years that really just drove the claims history up, and that resulted in a significant increase in the premium. So is there a motion to accept this quote from Anthem for health insurance at a cost of $124,562.06 per month? And just, I don't see on here the total yearly cost. What was that?
$1,494,744.72.
So is there a motion to, and also for an annual yearly premium for $1,499,744.72? Is there a motion to accept that quote from the Kentucky Association of Counties through Anthem?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tackett. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth? Judge Jones?
Yes. I have asked Mr. Maynard to help me, and this is something we'll get the county attorney's office just to double check. We've had, the administrative code is, in my opinion, too lenient with regard to the ramifications of having accidents and multiple accidents from county employees. So what we have here is a draft of 2 proposed amendments that I have asked to be prepared. One deals with disciplinary suspensions, and this would allow for a suspension of any employee who has an at-fault accident resulting in an injury, or any employee that has had 2 at-fault accidents regardless of injury. It also amends Section 486 to state that any employee that has had 1 at-fault accident resulting in injury could be terminated depending on the circumstances at the discretion of the court. Any employee that has had 2 at-fault accidents regardless of injury could be, for instance, if you had an employee that was, driving fast or something like that, the court could terminate him. Or any employee that has had 3 at-fault accidents shall result in termination. I hate to say this, we do have one employee who has had multiple claims. The current administrative code that I helped draft does not. This was something we didn't think about. Is something that we need to put in there. If we have an employee that has had multiple accidents, the court needs to have the option to terminate that employee. We can't tolerate employees that are, maybe not, obviously not intentionally, but they're just bad drivers, or they're inattentive, or they have those types of issues. And I do think this is something we need to do. Any thoughts on that?
This is to do if they have 3 accidents or more and their fault.
Yes. Regardless of the injury. If we don't do that, we don't have any way to control. What happens is when we have to give our driver's list, if you've got a driver that's had multiple claims and we don't have, and they're on that list, it's going to result in a premium increase.
Well,
And-
actually, Judge, what the insurance company will do at that point is they'll exclude that driver.
And we do have some concerns that when this coverage goes through with travelers, that there could be some drivers, and this is something we're going to have to jump across this. And it may be that we also need to amend the code to say that if there is an employee that is excluded by the county's insurance carrier from coverage under the auto policy, that they are subject to transfer or termination. Because here's what happens, if the insurance company says that you've got a garbage truck driver or road department employee or whoever, we're not going to cover this driver, the administrative code presently doesn't give us any option of what to do with that. And we have some concerns, and we've been told, Mr. Mayor and I were told this week that travelers, when they get the driver's list, there's a chance that some of those drivers, if they've had multiple accidents, will be excluded, and we're going to have to think about how we deal with that. But we also, if we've got a driver that's got a history of causing wrecks, we don't have any choice, in my opinion, but to have an option to get rid of them. Because, you know, it's a burden on the fiscal court and it's a burden on the taxpayers. Plus, it's a safety issue.
I don't know. I look at it sometimes, accidents are not avoidable. Some are.
Well,
I understand what you're saying too about, it would raise our premium higher if we keep somebody like that.
Well, it's not just that it'll raise it higher. If they're excluded, they will
Can't
not-
drive anyway.
They can't drive anyway. So you're going to have to.
So they will not cover them.
No, they will not. And if we allow them to drive and they get in an accident, we're on our own. I mean,
you got a problem here, Commissioner. We've got one driver, and I'm not obviously won't mention names, that's had one collision under this administration, but had other claims,
3 other ones.
3 others.
Yeah, one of them was not that driver's fault, but we're still
But at fault, how many?
2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some are not.
Well, this says at fault, that they have to be at fault. So if they're in a wreck and it's not their fault, then there's no ramifications. But if you've got a driver like this one that's had 3 at-fault accidents and the county's insurance carriers have paid out,
Well, we're at 756,000, I think, is when I looked at it and added it up last time.
if you've got a driver that's cost the county's insurance carriers $750,000 and 3 wrecks, I don't see how you can keep them. I mean, there's got to be a way for the fiscal court to say, look, we just can't keep you in their employment. If it was in your business with trucks on the road and you had a driver that had, I know you real well. If your company if you had a driver that had 2 wrecks, I know what you would do. You would terminate it. And I mean, it's not something that anybody wants to think about terminating somebody, and it does give the court some discretion up until they've had the 3rd accident. I do think that we need a provision to put in our administrative code. If you'll work on another one that says that if our county's auto insurance carrier excludes an employee, that they shall be subject to transfer into a different department or different job, even which could be at a lower pay grade. I mean, if you got somebody that's a truck driver, they get excluded, and the only position you got's a loader, then they would have the option of moving to the loader job. If not, potentially termination. But you can't keep somebody on that's a truck driver or heavy equipment operator and have them working for the county when they can't drive a county vehicle or a county piece of equipment.
Okay.
So this is not subject to be voted on today, but Colonel Downey, would you please present us the first reading for the amendments to section 484 and 486 with regard to disciplinary act, suspension and dismissal of hourly employees and administrative employees?
Section 484, disciplinary suspension, hourly employees and administrative employees. Section 1, any employee that has one at-fault accident resulting in an injury. Any employee that has two at-fault accidents regardless of injuries. These are language that's proposing to be added. Amendment proposal to section 486, dismissal, hourly employees and administrative employees. Section 1, any employee that has one at-fault accident resulting in an injury. Any employee that has two at-fault accidents regardless of injury. Any employee that has three at-fault accidents shall result in termination.
Thank you, sir. This will be ready to be acted on at the next meeting of the fiscal court. We will not have a meeting next Tuesday. We're going to try to take care of this business since it is a long weekend and we really won't have a whole lot to address. So there potentially could be a special meeting and there will be at least one regular meeting in June. So that will be on the agenda. All right, the next item is the first reading of a proposed road ordinance establishing a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit for Taylor Fork County Route 1017. Colonel Downey, and we've got an affidavit on, or I'm sorry, we've got a petition on this with about 37 signatures, it looks like. So, Colonel, would you please proceed?
First reading, ordinance establishing a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit for Pike County Road 1017, Taylor Fork. As the judge said, 37 residents of Taylor Fork have petitioned the Pike County Fiscal Court to establish a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit on Taylor Fork. Public safety and welfare are paramount to the county. Therefore, it is ordained that there will be a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. It is further ordained that the road supervisor shall procure the signs and set them up there. Any violation of this ordinance shall be the same as set forth in KRS 189.394. This is a first reading.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Fannin.
I have a couple of things, Judge. First of all, we had a bid opening on May 20th for bid number 22-2021 for one concrete bridge, Penny Street. We received one bid. It was from Bush and Burchett Incorporated from Allen, Kentucky. Their total bid cost was $485,000. There's no paving or guardrail including in the price. The guardrail installation would be an additional $25,000, making the total cost of the project $510,000 less the paving. From what I understand, we had $350,000 allocated to do this project.
I think we need to hear from Fabian. Fabian, what's your recommendation? Can we build it for the 350?
Yeah, we can do this in-house. I really was wanting to kind of get away from that just because of all the work we have to do, but we can do this.
I mean, this is, the base price is $135,000 more than the bid, and not counting the guardrail and paving, so.
Correct. And that's another piece of equipment for road department if we do it ourselves.
It's another excavator, essentially.
Well, they don't seem to be, Bush and Burchett don't seem to be moving very fast anyway, because they've been supposed to start the Pigeon Roost Bridge for the last 3 months, and they've still yet not started.
I've had it, I'm gonna have to make a phone call.
And I had a person that Pigeon Roost over there, the way they're angling that bridge, they're gonna be handicapped trying to get a camping trailer or a boat in
I've
there.
had the same call, and I explained to them, it's not our,
Well,
we've had problems at Blackberry at the fire department because of the low water bridge, is my understanding is that right, Paul?
Well, that's out now, but yeah, we did have,
Same company's building that
Yeah,
bridge?
same.
correct.
And the low water bridge has caused some issues over there that they put in, or the temporary bridge, so.
They promised when they left Big Blue Springs they was going to Pigeon Roost, and they've backed out of that now. And every time you talk to them, it's either a power or gas or something. They've been supposed to start it for 3 months now. They've not never started.
Well, I mean, and it may be that, of course, they're in the business to make money. We're in the business to get the work done.
That's right.
We're nonprofit, so obviously in this bid cost, there's some profit. You expect that when you contract stuff out. That's why we've been trying to do as much, that's why we're doing our
In-house.
that's why we're doing paving in-house.
Yep.
It just
well,
helps.
like though they're at Pigeon Roost, Judge, who do we need to talk to about? I know the state's paying for it, right?
Yeah.
They've done
That's on that
That's
Kentucky
on the
Bridging
bridge
Program.
That's Bridging Kentucky
Yeah.
program. We don't have anything,
nothing to do with it.
we don't have anything to do with it. It's a county bridge. The state is paying for it. The state puts the bids out. The state designs it. It's all state funded.
We don't have no say in it. They design it and build it.
Yeah, so it's, even though it's technically a county bridge, it's a state project.
So when these people are blocked, are we gonna have to go over there and put a wing on the bridge after they
I
build
don't
it?
think it's the current bridge that they're concerned about. I think it's a temporary.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was
It's a
understanding it was
it's
gonna be the
the-
new bridge.
I don't think
No.
it's, they've
No,
not
it's not
started the new bridge yet. It's a temporary bypass that they're putting in, that people are saying they can't get their boats. their
Well,
campers.
they'll have to deal with that. I mean, that's just part of it. I thought it was the new angle of the bridge is the way I was understanding.
They've not started yet, it's my understanding.
All right.
I mean, here's what I would say, because we've got so much work to do. I would say, go back to them, reject this bid. Say, we've got 350,000, if you'll build it for 350, we could do that, couldn't we, Frankie?
That's an option to negotiate with them and if they'll come down that much.
And just say, look, we got 350,000, we'll put the guardrail on and do the paving.
Sometimes they can, maybe get away with smaller beams or something like that. That they
No, not on this bridge you want. This bridge is state funded. Everything has to be sent in. There's samples of those beams has to be sent to the state. They have to be,
Fabian, how long would it take you to build that bridge?
it would probably a month. It would take me a good month to build that.
The problem is, we got more work to do than we got people to do it.
It is.
And so here's what I want you to do. It will be my motion that we reject this bid from Bush and Burchett for the Penny Street Bridge. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tackett. Question or discussion on this? There's none, then Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett,
Yes.
Commissioner Booth,
Yes.
Judge Jones.
It will be my motion to authorize the county road supervisor to contact Bush and Burchett and propose that we will give them $350,000 to build the bridge. The county would be responsible for the cost of the guardrail and paving.
Second.
Sometimes you might be able to do a little county work, maybe like demo the old bridge or something like that to offset some of that cost.
I've got this one, Frankie.
Okay, so, but let's give our,
Got this.
my motion is to give Fabian Little authority to negotiate with Bush and Burchett to see if they're willing to find an alternative solution, whether that's us doing demo, whatever it may be, putting in the bypass to save money, for them to construct the bridge for the $350,000, and see what he can get worked out with them, and he can bring it back to the court in 2 weeks. Second. Second by Commissioner Tackett. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett,
Yes.
Commissioner Booth,
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. And the reason I want to do this is because the road department has so much work to do. I mean, they've got $3 million in this next budget for paving. They're still paving for this year. They've got ditches to pull, weeds to cut, trees
Bridges to
to
build.
cut,
Bridges built.
other bridges to build. We've got, 8 or 9 bridges to build. He don't have enough employees.
I agree.
And that's just, it's not like we put an ad in the newspaper for temporary employees, and we can't even fill the 10 slots that we've advertised. I'm not sure whether that's due to the competition with, the pandemic unemployment assistance benefits and stimulus money, or if the fact that there's just not a lot of construction workers out there that haven't already moved out of the region or otherwise employed. But
I'd say you hit the nail on the head on the first one.
it may be, but we can't fill those temporary jobs, and we don't have the manpower to get the work that needs to be done. Is that a fair statement?
That was very fair.
I mean, we had a guy complaining about some overhanging trees on Marbone, but we can't cut trees on 1,000 miles of county roads overnight. You gotta start somewhere and you finish somewhere.
Yeah.
And, I explained to the person, we'll get to it, but we can't just snap our fingers and get every project in the county done. It takes time. So, but you'll report back to me before the next court meeting, is that
Yes,
correct? All right,
I will.
thank you. All right, so we have the next item is the Pike County Commissioners Recommended Road Maintenance List. Again, this will be published on Pike TV. Oh, is there one more, Greg? I'm
Yes, sir.
sorry. I apologize.
We,
Let's go back to this.
We've had an issue with the 2021 Genie scissor lift that we approved in the last court meeting to purchase. After the meeting, or the next day, I called and placed the order and gave a PO number to Boyd Cat. They called me back the next day. They originally told me there'd be a 7 or 8 week lead time. They called me back the next day and told me we had a problem, that when he placed the order, they said it would be November before we had it. But he said, I have located within the Boyd Equipment franchises 10 of the same Genie scissor lift in Indiana, and I can have you one of those in about a week and a half. I said, well, that'll be great. Then through our discussion, I realized that the ones they had in Indiana, although they were brand new, were 2020 models. So I told him, I said, I'm not going to pay the $11,778 that we agreed to on the 2021. If it's a 2020 model, I said, you'll have to help me on price. So he talked to his people, he called me back, he said I can do $10,988, savings of $700 and some dollars. I said, it's just about 6%. That doesn't seem like a lot. You'd think something a year old, even though it was new, it'd be at least a 15% discount, which would put it down around $10,000. If they could get there, might be able something might get approved. Called me back and said the absolute cheapest they'll let me sell one of them for is $10,500. It will still have the full warranty from in-service date, the date that we make the purchase, and he said he could have it to us in a week and a half. So it'd be my recommendation we buy the 2020 Genie lift with the full warranty from Boyd Equipment for $10,500.
Is there a motion to purchase this scissor lift from Boyd for $10,500?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robertson. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett,
Yes.
Commissioner Booth,
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item is Pike County Road Department work orders, and anybody have anything for Mr. Little on this? This will be posted on Pike TV so that the residents of the county can see what's been done and what's scheduled to be done. It's several pages long, and do the commissioners have anything that needs to be added to this or any changes that need to be made?
on Upper Chloe, when you start up in there, we need to patch some holes right there as soon as you start up in there, Fabian. I mean, they're really bad.
Okay, I would move that we amend the document before us for District 1 to include pothole patching, a work order for pothole patching as you start up Upper Chloe. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Booth. Any question or discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. So is there a motion to adopt the work orders and the scheduled work by the county commissioners as amended with the the patching project for Upper Chloe?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Booth. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. All right. Treasurer's business, Mr. Stacy.
Judge, it's almost fiscal year end, and Sharon Hall has a couple of coal severance projects that, to pay and get the canceled check back, she really can't wait till the expenditure list on the 15th. So I would ask the court to authorize a standing order to pay the remaining invoices for the following coal severance projects so we can get the canceled checks back and get them to DLG. It'll close 3 of these. The first one is QO20 Sheriff's Cruisers Purchase. QO58, which is the Bridge and Road Repair and Resurface Project. QO69, which is ATV Trail Master Plan. And QO90, which is the Breaks Walking Bridge.
I've not heard anything else on the walking bridge project, have you?
I think she's got an invoice that she needs to pay and get submitted.
Is there a motion for a standing order to issue payment on these LGEDF HB 352 contracts?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Booth. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
Authorize a check or a ACH wire transfer to AEP Kentucky in the amount of $3,483.85 for fees and taxes on the Flatwoods ATV property.
This is for the closing costs, the deed recording fees, and the ad valorem taxes for the subject property. Is there a motion to authorize a check or ACH wire transfer for the $3483.85 as well as the $275,000 purchase price for the property to AEP Kentucky Coal?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Booth. Any other question or discussion? Seeing that, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
It's possible if the court tells me to wire it today?
We said let's
Okay.
wire it today.
Okay. I can take care of it. The last thing I have would be to authorize checks for lodging, registration, and expenses for any employee who wishes to attend the 2021 Kentucky Local Issues Conference, August 25th through the 27th at the Galt House in Louisville.
Is there a motion to authorize?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robertson. Seeing no other question or discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. I do have a matter, potential litigation that we do need to discuss. And Mr. Patton, we have authorized that wire transfer for those funds today. As soon as the court meeting's over, Mr. Stacy will get that transferred. All right. Colonel Downey, would you please instruct the public? Hang on a second, Mr. Little's got something.
I failed to mention there, and I should have in my road there, I just want to make you aware that we did the money funds from Gilmore Road we were people for help on resurfacing Big Hack.
How much was that?
Great.
So we did receive $30,000 from the coal company to help with resurfacing on Big Hackney's Creek. All right.
Just to let the residents know that we'll get to that as soon as we can. About this other money I have to spend.
That'll be fine, Fabian.
Yeah, and I think it's only fair that if a company, logging, coal, whatever, is damaging county roads, that they have to be responsible and help us deal with that. So give them our appreciation, and I want to thank Commissioner Tackett for this because he has worked hard to make sure that the coal company stepped up. You know, we've all been up Big Hackney's Creek. It's been a couple months since I've been up there. That road, I mean, there's some massive holes in that road, and we're going to get that taken care of for those folks. All right. Colonel, please instruct the public and the fiscal court on the relevant provisions of the Kentucky Open Meetings Law as it pertains to the entry into executive session for the purposes of litigation, potential litigation, and specific personnel matters.
Judge, it is KRS 61.810, paragraph C, to discuss proposed or pending litigation, and paragraph F to discuss specific personnel. This allows the court to go into executive session.
Is there a motion to enter into executive session?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Booth. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth,
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. We'll stand in recess for a brief period for executive session, and we'll return, call the chair. This time I'll call the court back to order. Is there a motion to adjourn from executive session?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Booth. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. I say Commissioner Robertson. My allergies are so bad today. I can't think. I'm just ignoring you, okay?
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett,
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. All right. Department Supervisors, Mr. Tackett, anything? Mr. Fan, anything else? Mr. Spears, Ms. Skaggs, anything? Mr. Williamson, anything? Ms. Thacker, Ms. Vanover? Anything at all? You're being awful quiet today. You're being awful quiet today. Mr. Kaiser, anything, we've heard anything back on that cemetery relocation for the, that's never a good thing when you tell me we need to talk about it. Mr. Morley, anything? All right. Why don't you come on up and tell the folks the holiday schedule for us real quick.
Remind everyone that Monday's a holiday, and we'll be picking up Monday's garbage on Tuesday, and everything will be a day behind. We'll be working Saturday to get Fridays
So if your garbage is normally on Friday, it picks up on Saturday.
on Saturday.
Thursday's garbage is Friday, Wednesday's on Thursday.
So
This is your
Tuesday
week.
through Saturday.
Yep,
You just delay today. So
delay today.
all right. Make sure you get a post up on Facebook.
There already is.
And if the press would help us out, we'd appreciate that too, just to let everybody know. All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Little, anything? Mr. Ratliff? Colonel Downey? Why don't you come on up to the microphone then, because, so that way make sure that we get it on Pike TV.
I just want the court to know, we sent out a few more letters. I did follow up with that lady that, Commissioner Roberts, you took me up to talk with, that family. So we've sent out several new letters, and hopefully, we give them 30 days to get some kind of response back to us, so.
You're talking about letters to property owners about of blighted properties.
Yes, Judge, one of your favorite projects. We're aggressively going after them.
To try to clean up some of these.
We've had some luck. We've had some luck so far, so.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Mr. Maynard, anything? Anything else from the treasurer's office? Anything from the clerk's office? All right. Colonel Down, anything else that you want to add for the day? Just, I'll give you the last word. We'll let you.
Hope everybody has a very good Memorial Day, and if you have a problem, don't call me.
You served your 33 years, I understand, so. All right. Judge Hickman, anything, sir?
No, sir, not today.
Our county attorney is not here today. He had a busy week working on these lease agreements. That's taken a big bunch of his time, and we appreciate him. We'll start with Commissioner Tackett. Anything, sir?
Judge, the only thing I got to say, just everybody be safe. Enjoy this long weekend. Be back on schedule Tuesday.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Booth, anything, sir?
Hey, Judge, I just want to congratulate all the 2021 graduates. And I also would hope everybody have a good weekend, safe weekend, and enjoy their holiday weekend, Judge.
All right. Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I know how to get. I know.
It's pick on Robertson Day.
It's pick on Robertson Day. That was a good one. I wanted to see what you say, Commissioner Robertson.
I've lost a good friend this week, and it's Fabian's brother-in-law, Dean Builder. He was a good feller for the community. He helped me a lot to put me in this seat that I'm sitting in right now. I mean, he's from Pikeville, Stone Cold, but it shocked me how many people he knew on the backside of this county. I mean, we would go to these people's houses and they just loved him to death, and it's going to be a big loss for all of us. So I want you to keep your thoughts and prayers with the Builder family, and I want everybody to have a good Memorial Day weekend, be safe, and just have like a little vacation, because we all need it. Thank you.
Thank you all. I don't have anything else to add, and is there any other business to come before this meeting of the Pike County Fiscal Court? Seeing none, I would ask Commissioner Booth if he would say the benediction, and then we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Dear Heavenly Father, as we come before you again, dear Heavenly Father, Lord, just watch over everyone as they're traveling this weekend, dear Heavenly Father. Watch over their families. Lord, we just ask that everyone get back safely, dear Heavenly Father, and watch over all the graduates, dear Heavenly Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
In all seriousness, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion. We have a motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Booth. We have a second by Commissioner Robertson. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes, we are adjourned.